I think it is absolutely vital for every country, every leader to send a signal that the viciousness of a handful of killers does not stop the world from doing vital business.
There's no doubt America's under siege. No doubt there are killers seeking entry to America so they can carry out murderous plans, but let's balance that out with reality. There's no doubt plenty of these killers are already here. They've been here for months, maybe years, a lot of them homegrown. And while some are driving the hysteria about terrorists mixed in with Syrian refugees, why would anyone want to put themselves through that when they can simply walk across an unprotected border? Spin the wheel. Let's get this and a whole lot more around the dial. From deep in the heart of Texas, heard every weekday afternoon at 570 KLIF in Dallas-Fort Worth, the defender of liberty, Grant Stinchfield. All right, Grant, you guys are right there on the front lines when we talk about the border, and that is the question here. And I'm wondering what the people in Dallas-Fort Worth are saying here, because there's a lot of talk that here come the Syrian refugees and there's going to be killers in here. Grant, it takes years to get into this country when, quite frankly, you can take a plane into Juarez, you can take a car, you can walk across the border. Isn't that the bigger issue here?
Well, you know, here on our show, Ed, we have great contacts inside the Border Patrol working down along the southern border with Mexico. And they tell me it's not just the Syrians. You know, we heard of 5 Syrians trying to get in, refugees, just this past week. And it's not just Syrians. They say there's Muslims trying to come in from the Middle East. They say the Chinese. They've even had North Koreans try to move in from the southern border. And so we have a serious problem there. Border security is a #1 issue when you see what's going on in Paris. But this has been an issue that I've been aware of. Most of the people in Texas have been aware of for a long time.
So then does that not speak to that, though, Grant? Does that not speak to that point here? Instead of constantly hammering away at the fact that there could be Syria, and there could. Let's be very honest. There could be those coming in with the Syrian refugees, but it's more likely they're going to be walking across the border and walking into Texas in about 10 minutes. Yes?
Absolutely, Ed. The problem with this White House is they don't want to look at any option. So I think we have to look at both situations. We have to look at the Syrian refugees possibly sneaking across the southern border. We also have to look at those refugees who are coming into the country legally, even if it takes 2 years. The bottom line with that, though, Ed, is there's no way to do background checks on any of them. We just don't have the information there.
All right. Now, this is all about intel. What does it say to you when we find out that the Department of Defense analysts were told to, quote unquote, cut it out on ISIS warnings, basically getting to the president, well, don't worry, just quiet this out. What does that tell you then about our intel and what they're trying to get to the White House?
Well, sadly, in bureaucratic organizations, and the federal government is about the biggest bureaucratic organization there is, people that want to get to the top will do anything they can to impress their bosses. So I believe there are generals inside the Pentagon that are saying, hey, we cannot tell the president this information, and they're telling their minions not to pass it along. It's not that they're giving the president rosy glory analysis. It's what they're not telling
him. That could cost lives,
me,
Grant. That can cost one life. That can cost dozens of lives. That can cost thousands of lives.
Oh, Ed, it's treasonous when you think about it. I mean, for someone to try to want to move up the ladder and chain of command in the United States military at the expense of the American people, mind you, is treasonous to me.
All right, last thing, 30 seconds. Ahmed Mohammed, the clock kid. We all know the story. Arrested. The cops came in to his school. Now his parents, they're suing the Texas city and the school for $15 million, and they want an apology. I'm curious what the people in the Metroplex are saying about this story.
Ed, I was so hoping I was done talking about this story, and then this lawsuit comes out yesterday for $15 million. He wants to sue the city of Irving and the school district. And so here's my thoughts on this. Ahmed Mohammed and his family just left the United States to go get a free education in Qatar, of all places. And now they want to abuse and even exploit the judicial system of the United States of America for financial gain. I think it's despicable. It won't go anywhere. You know, when you think about juries in Texas, they're not going to have any tolerance for this. No jury in Texas is going to award this kid $15 million for bringing, by all accounts, what looked like a hoax bomb to school.
As a lawyer friend of mine said within the last 24 hours, just look under extortion. You'll see a new definition. Grant Stinchfield, weekday afternoons, 570 KLIF in Dallas-Fort Worth. Thanks, Grant. Have a great holiday. Great Thanksgiving. We'll talk to you next week. Coming up next, serious, factual discourse about what faces this nation, and it's not happening on a college campus. On the Hardline.